All right. Hello, everybody. I'm here today with Andrew Ray of RestonTek, and he's the owner of this company whose primary focus is business development for companies in South America to find customers and business opportunities and generally navigate the economy here and the legal system here in North America. Andrew, does that pretty well cover it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we do a few other things, but that's our primary focus right now.
Cool, cool,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so just thinking down that road, what's been working best in your business recently?
I think that it would be fair to say that we have been successful in gathering South American customers who are almost ready to enter the US and do business here. I mean, most companies in South America want to do it. Some will never be able to. Others just need some help. The component of that that's actually been working best, though, is to essentially have them outsource to RestonTek, where we basically do it for them. We
Okay.
we do the lead generation, the appointment setting. We will do the initial calls with customers on their behalf. It sometimes can be a good deal of work learning their business. We primarily stick with tech, and my team is all very technical backgrounded, but learning the nuances of somebody else's business can be difficult. Where we excel at that is that we've got a lot of Spanish language skills at RestonTek, so we're able to kind of work both sides of the fence.
Awesome, awesome. Andrew, I think if I recall your conversation, that includes a little bit of helping them through the business legal issues that get
So
involved
to
here.
me, that comes to somewhat to the preparation side. I'm partnered with a company called Apalanca, and essentially what Apalanca does, with help from RestonTek, is to vet and certify these South American firms. Sometimes they just need a little, what we call ESL on their website. It's already in English. It's just a Google Translate, and the average American firm that looks at that is sort of like, am I going to have trouble interacting with them or talking to them or any of that kind of thing? It can be that, or they only have a Spanish language website. They don't have even a PO box in the US or a bank account or any of those things.
Good points.
The other thing is, our reputation is terribly important to us in that if I am to pair a U.S. firm to do business with one of the companies that we've certified, they have to be able to deliver the work. They have to do it on time. And that can come down to literally interviewing some of their developers to find out if their skill set's there and so on and so forth.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
A lot of it is simply cultural. Let me give you an example. This whole concept began many years ago with a partner of mine in another business who is a Colombian national. And we noticed that the culture was often causing problems for Latin American companies. For example, in South America, it's considered fairly macho to be late to a meeting, to be the last one to join. I'd have something lined up. I'd have a customer on the line. We're all sitting there. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, the average U.S. Firm and group of people on that line, they're going to hang up. Their time is very valuable. They don't have time to wait. 15 plus minutes later, the company, that's trying to get some work done, or is trying to sell into the U.S. comes on the line. Where'd they go? I'm like, you've lost it. It's over.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Very basic things that are happening culturally are causing them to lose serious, real opportunities. And that's where we go back to certifying these companies to be ready to do business in the U.S.
Awesome.
If you're not on the phone a couple of minutes early, or at least dead on time.
Setting the expectations is a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is something that's completely foreign to the average Latin American company, and we help them bridge that gap and become more what we call internationalized, or it's the internationalization process, if you will.
And
You
it
have
is
to
a
respect,
it is a
other countries.
process.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What have you learned about yourself during this kind of a journey?
Wow, that's quite a question. I've learned that I need to speak Spanish more fluently.
Yeah,
Um,
good.
my Spanish, for example, is I speak Spanish to the guys and they respond in English and laugh at me. I certainly can understand. Um, Patience, as you
Good.
kind of walk through the process, is
Hmm.
something that I've learned personally. Also, there's just a huge opportunity to help these companies, be successful.
Yes.
Um, Additionally, these days it's very expensive to build an app or to, outsource, some heads to, another country or
Okay,
even,
good.
and it's a lot of work to make sure that people are happy with the end product.
Good, 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 good. This again, this gets a lot down into learning how to position people for
Mhm.
a transition, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a serious learning process. Sometimes we'll work with a company and we'll make the decision that they just don't have it.
Hmm.
Americans by and large don't speak Spanish,
Hmm.
and they're a little bit fearful of that issue.
Hmm.
If you don't have at least a PM or somebody that can talk real tech,
Hmm.
that speaks fluent English, you're probably not going to fail. That's where sometimes we'll step in and they'll outsource all of that to us.
Provide
But
a little bit of the bridging.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, customers find, if you excuse the expression, having a gringo, out front,
Hmm.
they're able to, it creates a comfort level for them.
Hmm.
I don't really know how to classify that, but they want to make sure that they're understood.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes, if the language barrier isn't quite right, you'll get somebody who's not a super good English speaker saying things like, can you have it on? There's no way you can have it on Friday, right? Yes. Okay. That's the response,
Yeah.
and
Which
yeah,
yes, are we responding to? Yeah.
yeah. It's those little things, and
Yeah.
there's such remarkable talent, down there. You can operate, and get things built, especially things like an MVP, for example,
Hmm.
where you're kind of bootstrapping and you don't have a lot of funds. You can have this work done by some incredibly talented and skilled shops, for a whole lot less money,
Awesome.
frankly.
Awesome.
But you
Awesome.
have to be able to, move it quickly and make sure that that your needs are met and understood and so forth. And that's often where we come in as well.
So what you're basically offering in a manner of speaking is an alternative to the Asian shops.
Well, sure, and it's in the same time zone half the year. The
Huh,
other the
isn't
other
that
half it's
convenient?
the other half, exactly, the other half it's an hour away. Well, the same time zone if you're in the East Coast, but
Yeah, well,
most of the US works on East Coast time anyway, so
yeah. Cool.
it's yeah.
What does the future look like? And kind of a piece of that question is what do you see as the main challenges moving forward?
Um Saturation,
Hmm.
perhaps.
Okay.
There's a lot of companies that are out there, offering, to set appointments and leads. I mean, my LinkedIn and my website and all that, specifically talks about, you know being able to do that for you. And I can't tell you how many different companies pitch me to outsource my lead setting. And
Yeah,
it's like, I know a lot of this is just automated and whatever, and they
yeah,
probably didn't even look at what I had there. But
yeah,
I worry about that, and a lot of these firms don't deliver.
yeah. I
You
get
know?
the same thing. I get an incredible number of coaches that message me trying to sell me coaching. So it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
yes, I understand it completely. And
yeah, and
and to be perfectly honest, I already have a coach. I
right,
I have a coach.
of course, of
keeps
course,
me focused.
yeah,
Perfect.
and yeah, and that's what I mean by like saturation. There's so many
Mhm.
people doing it. People start thinking, that there are quality firms that do these things. I'd like to think we're one of them, but
Now
um,
this raises a little bit of a different issue. As you said, a lot of this is automated in some form or another. What you're offering is an interaction person to person. so that we can do a real assessment and develop a real relationship and have a real operating business process going on instead of just computers talking to computers.
Correct. Correct. I mean, do we do a little automated, appointment setting, looking? Yeah, but for the most part, everything is a human interaction.
It's a people to people kind of.
Yeah, it has to be. I've always worked that way, and I find that to be the best way to go.
Okay, we're going to change direction a little bit.
All right.
What advice would you give to somebody else thinking about going into business?
Going into this business or any business?
A business, doesn't matter what industry.
You got to be ready. You got to do your homework. You've got to be the best at what you're offering.
Mm-hmm.
Some people aren't cut out to go into business for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They just need somebody to basically give them direction each and every day. If you're that person, if you need somebody to set your agenda and make sure you get paid every 2 weeks and that sort of thing, you're probably not ready to go out on your own.
That's a very interesting piece of advice. There's the day you start, you have a huge laundry list of to-dos. Which one do I do first?
Yeah, I finally went out on my own, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago, something like that. I was a fairly senior executive at a Fortune 100. I just got sick of the corporate world. And I got up one day and I was like, I can't do this 1 minute longer. And I felt like, I was ready. I've always wanted to do this, but I had stuck with, the safer route, which is,
is it really safer?
These days, that's debatable. It used to be, back when you retire after, from the same company with a gold watch and off you went. But
yeah. If you started your business again, what would you do differently? This is more of a business question than a product question.
Yeah. I probably would have done more self-promotion, maybe a little bit more advertising for a long time. And RestonTek is a relatively newer venture. It's the same old thing, but it's the new company that we branded to kind of, try and solve this, what I see as a problem with connecting these companies. Kind of relied more on word of mouth, did more consulting and that sort of thing. That's probably what I would change.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Kind of in the same vein, what's most inspiring to you today? What gets you up in the morning and real excited to get through the day? Get something done.
I think that the relationships that I've been able to develop over the years and the new ones that keep coming along, and the pleasure that some of these folks that I'm working with in South America are just so very talented, being able to kind of help them up, that keeps me going on the daily. There's always somebody new that we can try and work with and try and help,
You've just kind of articulated in a way a win-win, a win for the business person in South America, and a win for the person here who can get something done by talented people for a relatively inexpensive cost.
Yeah, I mean, if you look on the flip side here in the US, there's an awful lot of companies that I think that would like to lower their development costs, their headcount costs, that just need a quick MVP done and that sort of thing. But they wouldn't even know where to begin to outsource, particularly to Latin America, because there's the language barrier, or perceived language barrier. I mean, the kids in South America now are pretty fluent. You know what I mean? A lot of times these companies will have, the 21-year-old that just joined the company. He's their front guy speaking English, But I just completely lost where I was going with that. Yeah, it's difficult for the US companies to navigate, just connecting. How do I know these guys are any good? How do I know they'll even deliver? How do they, how do I know I'm going to get what I asked for? How do I know they even have these skills?
Yes.
and so on and so forth. And that's something that we're bringing. I bring that pretty much right now for free to U.S. companies, right?
Yeah.
You want to get involved with us, and work with some of our vetted companies. We'll match you up for free. You know what I
Good.
mean?
Good.
And we'll help you navigate. I mean, there's some add-on services that can be done there. Facing the other way, but generally, we're kind of helping everybody. You know what I mean? It feels like
Yeah.
it's a circular sort of thing, and so far so good.
Awesome. Awesome. So we're getting close to the end here. Are there any offers you'd like me to share with our listeners?
Well, I think I would like to, to the Latin American firms, let's talk. We can help you. We can do
Mhm.
all sorts of different things to help expand your business and make it more profitable, more well known,
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. Up to even, just helping you with your basic marketing, whether it's
Yeah.
on LinkedIn or paid ads or whatever
Yeah.
else. And very specifically to the U.S. market, if you're looking to save money, and work with and expand your team in a cost-effective way with some really talented groups, get in touch. We can help you for free. We'll set
Fantastic.
you up with companies that we've vetted and that we trust, and we'll stand behind them as well.
Okay. And then follow up. What is the best way for people to connect with you?
Just come to RestonTek.com.
Fantastic. I'll make sure that they've got that. That'll be
Thank you.
fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you, Andrew. That wraps up the interview. That was awesome. Thanks so much for taking time to be with me today.
Thank you, Stephen.